Today's topic is Social plus Media Global Equation by Judith Lee of Score. I'm going to turn it over to her and let her conduct her session. Please help yourself to refreshments throughout this session as you need. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Well, thank you all for coming. I want you to know that I am someone who usually speaks generally to business owners or folks starting up businesses. And they are often really scratching their head about social media. And I can see from the demographics in the room, a lot of you are probably active social media users. But what we're going to talk about today is going to be a little different from your use, okay? Just by way of background of myself, I have a business focused on social media, email marketing, and mobile marketing. It's a communications business. But what you also need to know about me is that I reinvented myself kind of recently. I was a journalist for many years and a communications person, but the whole publishing business collapsed somewhere around 2008. And what I had as clients disappeared because the reading public was reading everything online. And I needed to find a way to take my skills as a journalist and a communicator and find a way to provide my skills in a relevant way. So I developed a business. I call it Communication Works Now, but it really started as an email marketing business, doing email newsletters, which I still do a lot of. But then I really discovered the power of social media and got very involved in that. And now, of course, mobile marketing is what's really happening. So that's mainly what you just need to know, that one of the things, I have a son who just finished his college program, and one thing I told him and all his friends was the one thing you need to prepare yourself for is change. You may need to reinvent yourself more than once in your careers. And that's what's really important about your skills that you are acquiring now. And those of you who are entrepreneurs here today, you've already gone through what I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure. So, okay, we'll get started. Oh, and I do encourage participation. Any questions or comments, just raise a hand or whatever, and I'll address it. Okay, I'm not formal. Okay. Here we go. Okay. See, this is why we have Matt here. Okay. All right. So we want to talk about the advantages of social media. I love social media because it levels the playing field for small business. It's a big impact for the cost. For instance, when I reinvented myself, I had nothing. I had no clients, I had no money. I had a son starting college, and I had to find a way to market a business that didn't cost me dollars. It cost me time, but not money. And the consumer is very effective. The consumer is 60% more likely to purchase from a brand that they have engaged with on social media. Now that doesn't necessarily mean they're doing the purchasing on social media, but social media affects their purchasing. And the other thing is, the sheer numbers in social media continue to be compelling. You cannot ignore them. Okay, so 70% of internet users use social media. And actually, I just read a new statistic, 74%. So anyone who's online is on social media. And it's across all age groups. You can see that. It's you know, obviously younger users, there's more of them, but there's all the way up to the age of 89 up here. And actually some of the fastest growing demographics are older people. I just read yesterday that on the fastest growing demographic on Twitter is age 45 to 65. Okay, so this is just a little roadmap of where what I'm going to go over today. First of all, you know, we'll talk a little bit about how you might be using social media, especially any business owners, how they might be using social media. What, where, and why it matters. And how else you can be using it for business. Because that's all we're going to really focus on today. How you use it for business. And then mobile is tremendously important now. We're all carrying our smartphones around with us. In fact, I use my smartphone to find my way here today. So we're very, very connected to our smartphones, and this mobile technology actually accelerates the impact of social media. And then also I'll go over what else mobile offers your business besides a social media connection. Okay, so let's talk about Facebook. Facebook is something that is an unbelievable phenomenon. 600 million people on the planet look at the Facebook page every day. That's a lot of people, okay? And actually, I think that number might be at this point low. We have 1 billion monthly users. Now that just means that in the course of a month, they will look at the Facebook page at least once. That's 1 billion people. And the Facebook now has a format that emphasizes photos. So you really have to always be thinking of graphics and photos with your Facebook posts. All right, let's just talk for a minute. Anyone here, particularly a business person, how are anyone here using Facebook to promote their business? Okay, well, we'll talk about how you do that. Okay, Facebook is best for doing things like promoting events. And yes, you should have events when you're in business. That's a great draw. This is a type of event. I often speak at events, and it's a great way to market. You need to be thinking about contests on Facebook that build engagement. All right? I'm organizing one right now for a client who is an optometrist. And he has a very big practice, but he has a Facebook page that he has about 450 followers, and he wants a lot more. So we're putting together a contest where he's going to make a donation to a local nonprofit group for every new like he gets in a certain period. And that's a way to get local people to come like your page and build your following. And the reason you want to build your following for business is so that a lot of people will see your posts. It's not really worth anything to be posting and not having anyone see it. People love to see a peek behind the scenes in a business. And you can use Facebook for that. They want to see the people in your business. And it's a way to introduce your team as human beings. So, the one message I want you to take with you about Facebook and business is Facebook is a way to humanize your brand. Okay? It's a way to be something other than a company or a corporation. People are interested in people, and the whole concept behind Facebook was for people to get to know each other. So that is actually how you use it for business, to humanize your brand, to be a person. So as much as possible, you want to post pictures of people in your company and clients if they are willing to be photographed and shown. And in general, you just want to be people. So I encourage my clients to, if they have a holiday party or they have a baby shower for someone, then put pictures up on Facebook like that. It doesn't just have to be all business. It shouldn't be. And it's also best to have a fan page. I don't know whether you folks are really aware, everyone's aware of the difference between a personal page and a fan page. To do a fan page, which is also like a business page, you have to have a personal page on Facebook. You don't have to use the personal page. I have clients who never use the personal page, but I had to set up a personal page for them before I could do a fan page. But the fan page is better because, to use for your business, because you can control the content more. So you know how on your personal page, there's a whole feed that comes from other people. You can't control what they post. You don't want that on your business page. You want to be able to have a little more control over it. Okay, Twitter. The purpose for use Twitter for business is not to tell people where you are or what you're doing or anything like that. The use for Twitter for business is to send someone somewhere, okay? You want them to go to your website. You want them to go to your Facebook page. You want them to go to a good source for information. So for instance, I use Twitter a lot. I actually built my following in Twitter from 250 to, I currently have 17,000 followers on Twitter. Now I don't even know who these people are. I have no idea. But all I do is I tweet about social media. When I receive good information about how to use social media for your business, I send it back out. I give it away. And then I have a little hashtag on Twitter, hashtag social media. So all these people who are interested in learning more about social media found me through the hashtag, right? So that's really what you do with Twitter. It's really a place you share information with people by sending them somewhere. And you don't have to use it at all for personal use, and still it can be very useful for your business. So, it's the fastest growing social network in the world, 550 million active users. Yes?
So, when you're saying you share information, it could be on any subject, not even subjects related to your business or your objective in your business.
I would stick to your business and your objective in your business. It can change. I mean, for instance, you can decide to do something for a short while related to your business that you're not going to stick with. But I really think you should be using it to grow your business and to share information about your business. Basically, you want to create an educated consumer, because certainly for all small businesses, an educated consumer is your best consumer. So I like it for that. Twitter's best for sharing links, sharing information through sharing links. For live tweeting is a very, very good tool now. Another one of my clients had a live tweeting cooking event. It was a cooking event for kids. They got a huge amount of attention on Twitter. They had a chef and they were doing a live tweeting thing with the chef. And they got a lot of participation, and they got a lot of people to go like their Facebook page from that. So live tweeting is really good. And you also use Twitter to build your presence as an expert. That's really all I've really done with it. But I gained a lot of visibility through use of Twitter. And that's just take a moment to talk about that. There's always a value in gaining visibility. It's really the basis of your marketing. But I feel that always you need to look bigger than you are. It's always a positive. And I'm like one person, so how am I going to look bigger? It's not that I really mislead people, but I have a presence that I can create through social media that I really couldn't do any other way. I couldn't afford it. You know, I go out and do live events like this, but there's only one of me and I can only do it so much. But social media allows you to do it a whole lot more. And I have followers on Twitter that they're tweeting in Arabic and Chinese. I don't know who they are. so that it's a really important point for business owners. Probably Twitter's the best tool for that.
Does this cost you
Yes.
anything?
Twitter's free. It's all free. I'll tell you if anything costs something, assume it's free if I tell you about it. Yes?
What is live tweeting?
Okay, what it means is you have an event. You have some kind of an event. And as the event is going on, you'll have several people there whose job is just to tweet about it.
Okay, so it's still virtual.
It's still very, well, of course now Twitter has photos and videos, and those are really popular. So you would have these same people who are tweeting, but also taking some pictures and sending pictures with their tweets. Visual, visual, visual. We live in a visual society. You got to be as visual as possible. But it's not expensive. I mean, you can have your friends or your family, or if you have employees, have them do it. So that's what we mean by live tweeting. Okay. Now, LinkedIn is a great, great favorite of mine, and it's particularly good for businesses like mine that is a business-to-business company. If you are selling to other businesses, LinkedIn is more important to you than Facebook. Even though you should also be on Facebook. But LinkedIn is like a huge professional network. And it's a very professional environment. So you can present yourself as a professional. And there's not as much goofing around as there is on Facebook or Twitter. Okay? So that's really better for a lot of businesses. 300 million users. A new user joins every 3.2 seconds. So it's very, very popular. And it's a great tool to connect with prospects and other professionals in your field. It's, I actually have a client who is a retinal specialist. So he came to me, he had a wonderful website, but he said, I don't know anything about social media, but I think I should be doing it. And I recommended for him LinkedIn, because he needs to connect, actually not with you folks, even though you might at some point be his patient. He needs to connect with optometrists and other ophthalmologists, because they refer to him. He's a specialist, so you always are coming through to him through another doctor. So we're using LinkedIn to connect with other doctors that don't already know him. All right, so that's an easy, simple way that you can use LinkedIn. Okay, so you use LinkedIn to display your credentials, your expertise. All right, so LinkedIn has a profile that you fill out. Once again, free. You want to go in first of all into LinkedIn and really complete that profile. And you've got to have a good picture. And I have to tell you, the minute you're in business, get yourself a good picture. And I mean, the minute you have a job, for heaven's sakes, maybe before, go and pay a professional to take your picture. And create a LinkedIn account and look like a professional, all right? Don't use a goofy picture. Don't crop yourself out of a party picture and put it in. and don't not have a picture. I have to tell you, there are very important people who are on LinkedIn and they don't have a photo. Now, there might be a tiny percentage of people who are so important and perhaps maybe they're afraid of being kidnapped or something, okay? Well, if you have that problem, just don't do social media, okay? But for the vast majority of people, the reason we're on social media is to meet one another. Who wants to meet someone without knowing what they look like? And then, of course, you want to look like a professional. You know, just like today, I did not come in my sneakers and my jeans because I want to appear as a professional, all right? So you really need to think that through. And on LinkedIn, there's a lot of room for you to put in information about your education, your job experience, your skills, and you need to complete that very thoroughly. Because people look for you on LinkedIn. They search for people with your skills. I've had clients, I've had people hire me. I have 2 clients in California that I've never met face-to-face who found me on LinkedIn. Okay? So you really have to take it seriously because this is the way people really do connect. All right, so you also, along with being found, you find people on LinkedIn. All right, and that's what I was talking about with my retinal specialist, who's my client. You do an advanced search. What I have up there on the screen is an example of a search. All right, at the top of your LinkedIn page, there's a search bar, and next to that bar is a little word, advanced. You click on that, and it allows you to specify who you're looking for. So for instance, if you're looking for a job, you're going to go in there and identify who is it that would be hiring you. What company are you looking for? You can do it by company, you can do it by title, job title, you can do it by keyword. And you can specify geography. So, for instance, if I were to search, if I wanted to find prospects, I would probably look for marketing directors of companies that are within about an hour of where I operate from. Because I'm usually not willing to drive more than an hour, really, to meet with prospects. So when I put that in, I don't know, I'm over 500, I have a lot of connections. When I put that in, I get thousands of connections come up, potential connections. Where do they come from? They are the connections of my connections. So all the people that already know me and know me on LinkedIn, which, you know, obviously I want to do business with them too, but then I am able to tap into all of their connections. And I can then go and connect with all of those folks through LinkedIn. And that's how I grow people's LinkedIn followings, and that's how I grow my own. All right, and you can go in there and you can start with just 75 connections, and you can grow it really fast. It's really helpful. If you have a business, you're going to post to LinkedIn, just like you would post to Facebook. And you want to have as many connections as possible because they'll see your posts. But if you don't have a business, if you don't have a job but you're looking for one, you're going to use LinkedIn more as a search tool, all right? But then when you connect with people, you can then find out a lot about them, all right? So it's very, very helpful, and it's a safe environment. You can share information in a way. No one knows where you live. They don't know your phone number. You just enter the contact information you want people to have. So, for instance, email is safest to start. And it's good. Okay. So that's the main thing I would say. If you've never done a LinkedIn search, do it. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, get one. Anyone who intends to be employed anywhere should have one. Okay, YouTube. YouTube is something that a lot of people in this room are real familiar with. But what most people don't know, it's the second largest search engine in the world. Second only to Google. And in fact, Google owns YouTube now. Because Google recognized how huge it is, right? You use YouTube to be found. There's a lot of people that anything they want to know, they just go to YouTube and find a video about it. And as a matter of fact, I just did that the other day. There was a recipe I was looking for, and I ended up with a YouTube video. I mean, it's really great. So businesses need to use YouTube for the same reason you would use any of the other social media, because people are there. Okay, that's why you're using it. Your customers and your prospects are there. Yes?
There are other websites that do the same thing as YouTube. I remember in the chemistry deal, some English operation. Do you use these people to?
I don't really have the need. I mean, if you have a presence on YouTube, you're kind of fulfilling your function because so many people use YouTube. You can go ahead and use others, but you're kind of diluting your effort. Now, if you have a particular niche in an industry and you kind of are just marketing to a smaller group, you might do something like that. But we're really talking about maximizing your exposure. And once again, trying to appear bigger than you are, right? So everyone needs to get more comfortable with video and more comfortable with doing videos. 6 billion hours of video watched every month. And of course it reaches more younger people than any cable channel. Okay. What are you going to do on YouTube? You're a business owner, you're a business professional. What are you going to do with YouTube? You're going to display your expertise. It can be as simple as doing a video blog. Okay, I do a weekly blog. I really ought to be doing it as a video. I am going to get myself to do that. It's very simple. You really can you can do a video with your phone. There's a little tripod you can get, and you really should be doing that. You use it to offer advice, commentary. You will be found by new prospects. And the other thing is you can use some humor on YouTube. It's really, you don't have to be completely serious all the time. And I've actually seen some people who get a lot of attention by doing things like dressing up their pet and stuff like that. And you can do a little bit of that as a business person, and it's really not, doesn't reflect poorly on you, and it'll gain you a following. And YouTube, obviously, is very important for reaching younger markets. Okay, what else? There's a lot of other social media. And they all have a use, but no one can use all of them. No one has time or would just be doing nothing but. So I do suggest that the three big ones, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, you embrace at least one of those, if not all three. And YouTube also. But there are other vehicles that are really good. Pinterest is really popular. That's a great vehicle for reaching the women. And it's not really just always people talking about boots and jewelry and clothes. There's really very serious topics being shared on Pinterest. Health topics and those kind of things. So Pinterest is good. I use it for some clients and not others. Instagram, really great for reaching a younger market. The thing with Instagram is you need to really use it if it's going to help you. You know, use it often. And it's obviously easier to use for businesses that have something, a physical product to depict. A little bit tougher for service businesses. And then Google Plus is huge. I think Google Plus is good to use if you already like Google Plus and use it personally. It's good to use it for business. It will help your search engine optimization. It will help your web ranking. Google Plus, all of them will. All social media will. All social media will. But Google Plus will help you just a little more because it's Google. Okay, so what do we use social media for? Use it to publicize events. All right? Events are really important to businesses. They bring in people. They bring people to you. Special offers. You let people know about your special offers. Your contests. Use contests to engage people and bring in new people. But to me, the most important part is the last one up there, education. Okay? I love to educate people through the use of social media. In the end, all of this together helps you build relationships. Basically, what you're doing with social media is you're making friends. People like to do business with people they like. And this is a way to be friends. And you know how to be friends. You take an interest in others. You care about them. You wish them a happy birthday. You make a joke, hopefully not at their expense. And you stay in touch. And that's what businesses need to do, you can do, with the use of social media. And you make friends with your customers. And that's why people would rather do business with brands that they have engaged with on social media. It's just human nature. Okay, so what does social media have to do with mobile? As I mentioned, 70% of social media users access their social media through their phone. Right? They're not looking at social media on their PC or their Mac. They're looking at it on their phone. So that's a different dynamic. All right, perspective on the mobile revolution, really. 60% of US adults have smartphones. I think that number's low. In some areas, it's going to be everybody. 58% check their smartphone at least once an hour. Okay, so that's a really big connection. 90% of mobile users keep their phones within reach 24/7. And 75% of smartphone users admit to taking to the bathroom with them. Which I do think is a little unnecessary, but it's what we do. So this is a really strong connection. So mobile is starting to get closer to a sales tool than social media is. Because 4 out of 5 smartphone users use their phone to shop. Okay, so now we're getting closer to the exchange of money. And that makes it very, very important to pay attention to. Okay, so here's the social and mobile equation. Social media connects you with your customers and your prospects. Mobile strengthens that connection. You not only now are sending out these posts, but people are receiving them wherever they are, all the time, even when they go to the bathroom, for heaven's sakes. Okay? So it's really a big change that only makes it more powerful. So it gives you a direct connection to customers and prospects. All right? So once again, if you're someone who is in the job market, you are going to be just like a business owner searching for customers. You're going to be looking for the person that's going to be hiring you. And social media is a great tool. And then obviously business owners need to be finding their market and reinforcing their relationships through social media. Okay, so let's talk about what else mobile offers. Mobile is really a very amazing thing. I mean, some of you might not, have the same perspective that I have, where we used to have gadgets for all different things. You had a calculator, you had a GPS, you had a computer, you had a phone, but now you just have one thing that does it all. And mobile technology can be very, very useful for business, and businesses need to embrace it, because once again, that's where people are. So, we've got email, internet search, QR codes, apps, and texting. And who knows what they're going to be doing next. So, texting. The average response time for an email is 90 minutes. And the average text message response is 90 seconds. All right? We have to pass laws to tell people not to text while driving, which is mind-blowing. It's unbelievable. Really? But what I'm saying is that it commands exceptional attention, texting. And there's something about it that's so compelling. And I know myself, when I get a text, I want to see the text, and I usually answer it right away. So I'm not driving. So we need to harness it in business. Yes?
I have one question. I can't understand why people won't call rather than text. It seems to me that calling demands the person's immediate attention.
Because you get, a lot of times you get people's voicemail. Because I find whenever, all the time when I call, it always takes more than one. The only people that pick up are the people that are like really close to me. I can count on. My husband will pick up if he can. My son will pick up if he can. A lot of people, especially in business, they're picking up. And they'll call you back. But texting, often people will respond right away. The other thing is then you also don't get hung up in a conversation. All right, so if you just want to get one little piece of information to someone, texting is the way to do it. So we'll talk about how right now. First of all, you need to start collecting customers' cell numbers. So businesses really just a few years ago realized they needed to collect email addresses. Well, now they have the email addresses, but what they really need are the cell numbers. Okay, so you need to do that as a part of collecting your customer information. What will you do with that? Well, you're not going to be a pest. You're never going to be a pest, because texting it does command so much attention. Don't ever use it in a trivial way. You want to use it for important things, appointments, make appointments, remind people of appointments. All my healthcare providers text me, remind me of my appointments, but I don't mind that. I'm glad, because I can miss things. I can forget things. And if you send me a text, I won't. So really, it's great for that. It's great for instance, if you're meeting someone and you've got to make some kind of a change, text them if you can. Weather closures. Remember last winter, and we might have another one like that coming. Businesses, retail businesses, if you have the cell numbers of your loyal customers, you can text them and tell them you're going to be closed today because of the weather. That's really, really helpful to people. It's good for them to know that. Restaurants, very, very good. So you'll probably be asked for that information more and more by those kind of businesses. Also, special limited time offers. That's, people respond to that and they don't get angry as long as it's really a good offer, right? Don't, you know, is it something that would move you? Okay, then go ahead and text about it. It's best for businesses like healthcare businesses, childcare businesses, specialty shops, restaurants. We should all be poised to use it, but many of us don't really have it as much of a need for it, texting, as these other businesses. Okay, email. Email might seem antiquated these days. It certainly seems slower, but email is really important for a couple of reasons. Everybody does email. I have a good friend who's 84. He checks his email every day. He sends emails. He's not so good on the texting, but email's really a good thing. And we now check our email on our smartphone, which means we're checking our email all day long. So email is another way for businesses to connect with their customers. You need to kind of optimize your email for the smartphone. So we used to send email newsletters that were sort of fancy, but we don't do that anymore because it's all viewed on the smartphone. So you've got 70% of smartphone users checking their email every day, 50%. I think it's one back. Okay, and you want to use it to share news, announce promotions and specials. Actually, I almost exclusively use the email newsletter to educate, to share news that people value. So if you have a certain clientele, there are things they want to know about. So you want to give them that information, whether it's content that you created, you wrote yourself, which is always better because it's your original content. But if you don't have time to do that, you can source good, reliable information and then put a link to the original source. So once again, your email user will read a few paragraphs, and then if they want to learn more, they can go to that link. They'll learn more, and they'll appreciate that you shared that with them. What you need to do to use email for your business, you're going to collect customer email addresses, very important. You're going to optimize it for the smartphone screen, so you see an email newsletter that's been optimized, and actually I strip them down even further to a certain degree. You're always going to protect your customer's privacy. So if they give you their email address, don't give it to anyone else. Don't share it. They just gave it to you. Yes?
Optimizing for the smartphone screen, is there anything that does that automatically rather than using programmers or is
Oh yeah, I like a service called Constant Contact. Probably a lot of people have heard of it. Constant Contact. You really can't send large numbers of emails from your personal email account, or you will be shut down as a spammer. You have to get an email service provider. Constant Contact is one of them. MailChimp is another. There's quite a few. You can Google it and get these services. Now, in Constant Contact, they have templates for all kinds of email communications. And they have some that are optimized for mobile. And what I've been doing is converting all my customers to those templates. Even though we're very sorry to give up our pretty flashy templates, but nobody's looking at them on computers and tablets. So yes, it's good. You need an email service provider. Say if you're going to send more than 20 emails at a time, you'll end up getting shut down. So don't do that. Some of these services are free. I will say Constant Contact is not free, but it offers plenty of value, and I actually have all my customers using it. You know, some of them do their newsletter themselves on there, and some of them I do their newsletter for them. So email is best for educating and building trust and loyalty. So that's really important to think about always in business. That's something that's going to differentiate you from larger companies. You're going to have that loyalty that you built by sharing information, educating them, being a reliable source, and being a friend. And that's why we don't use it necessarily for a lot of sales. I know I get those kind of emails all the time. Like, I get the emails from Gap every day. That's not what I'm really talking about. Gap can get away with it because they're Gap. But a small business really needs to be more sharing information and not pounding people and saying buy, 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 buy. Even though that's what you want, you really need to be nicer about that. Okay, internet search has really changed because of mobile. 70% of people use a smartphone in a retail store. When they're in a store, they're using their smartphone to look things up online. And 60% of them are looking at the website for that exact store. All right? This is a huge change for retailers. First of all, don't have two pricing tiers for the store and the website, because people will figure it out. And they'll just go ahead and buy from the website if it's going to be cheaper. They'll also, a lot of people will shop your competitors' websites while they're in your store. So you really need to be aware of what specials are they offering, you need to be fast on your feet and just be able to respond to that. Because especially during the holidays, the shoppers are out there getting information and using information to make their purchase decisions. So it's very noticeable. And once again, they're looking at your website on a small screen. So that also needs to be optimized for mobile. Your website needs to be optimized for mobile. All those fun things we used to have, like music and Flash and lots of photos, that all needs to go. I used to have one of those websites. I don't have that anymore. Now I have a website. My website is through GoDaddy, which is inexpensive, and you can build a website yourself there. They have a platform that when you use one of their templates, their website templates, their platform automatically senses what screen it's being viewed on. So it will automatically scale my website to a small screen. So that's really, if you don't have a website that's already optimized, that's a great way to go. And I would say generally, if you haven't updated your website in 2 years, you need to update it. It's just the way it is. Nothing looks current after 2 years. And if you haven't, it's probably good to look at one of those platforms where it will provide that for you. It used to be that, there were a couple of years ago, people were like having 2 different websites, one for mobile, one for, you need to just have a website that's optimized Okay, and then the other thing, is you want to make sure it's easy to read. White background with black type. On that smartphone, like at one point in time when I had the flash and all that, I also had a black website with white type. Well, that's okay on a screen that size, but nobody can read that on a phone. So you do that, and then you need to offer coupons. Mobile coupons are very popular. People love them. Of course, people always like having discounts, and then if you have a mobile coupon, you can't forget the coupons, because of course you're never going to forget your phone. So always think about mobile coupons. Yes?
You started talking about optometrists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're 20 years old, you can see with that much light very well. When you're 60 years old, you need like a room full of light. And then when you're 90 years old, you need a world full of light. Is there anything that optimizes viewing on a smartphone for people that are older?
Well, first of all, you know, you usually can go in and adjust your brightness setting internally in your phone. So if you don't know how to do that, you can usually do that in settings. I personally now always read. I read on my phone because I can adjust the brightness, and that's the advantage of a Kindle or something like that. Because I have the same problem. I have to have brightly lit screen. But if you can't figure out how to do it on your phone, just find some young person and have them fix it for you. But you can make it brighter. And it actually is easier to read, especially if it's a white screen with black type. You can make the font larger on your phone, all right? And that's a big help. Believe me, it's a really big help. Okay. QR codes. QR codes are one of my favorite things. Redress myself. Actually, I'll just take it off now. QR codes are something that marketers love. Not as many consumers have embraced it as much as marketers would like, but I think it's still a very important marketing tool because people just continue to learn how to use this. You use a QR code. It stands for quick response. Okay, so the idea is a QR code is a shortcut. It's a shortcut you give to people to get somewhere. A little bit like the Twitter usage I talked about. You use your QR code to send someone to your website, your Facebook page, or a landing page on your website. All right? You're going to use it for special events, special offers. That's what the QR code is generally used for. And you'll use it for an event, and then that QR code is done when that event is over, or that offer is no longer valid. Basically, it's like a little barcode that's embedded, and it will, you have to have on your smartphone a QR code reader, free app, and it basically takes a picture of that QR code and takes you right to that location. All right? So it is really useful, and I use it in grocery stores and other places like that. Sometimes I'll see a community announcement or something on a bulletin board if there might be a QR code. They're very useful. Okay. So you can create your own QR code. They're free. They're easy to create. I actually have, what I did was I made a QR code on my website, and I have that QR code on the back of my business card. So if someone is interested in, they get my business card, they're interested in knowing more about me, they can just flip over my card and use the QR code. So you make it, it's very simple. You Google QR code generators, and you'll get free QR code generators. I've got the website for one up there, but once again, free. you just copy the URL of the place you're sending people to. So, it's your website, if it's your Facebook page, if it's a landing page. Okay? You just copy that right into the QR code generator, and immediately it makes you a QR code that's unique for that URL. If you then save it in your computer like an image, just like a JPEG or a GIF or something, and you use it like an image. So you can put it on your website, you can print it on a brochure, you can send it out in an email, you know, it's a very simple thing to do. So I think that it would be really important for everyone to continue to use QR codes, and businesses really can find them useful. Okay, now apps. Smartphone users spend an average of 130 minutes a day using apps. And you may say, no way, I don't spend that much time. But if you look at your social media on your smartphone, you're using an app. And you're often using an app on your smartphone and you don't even realize it. Right? Apps are very, very important. People use them all the time. And it's because they're easy to use. Apps are easy to use on your phone. They're native to the phone. Many other things like websites were originally created for computers, not for phones. So it's not as easy to use them. But apps, easy to use. 60% of app users say they view a brand with a mobile app more favorably than a brand that doesn't have an app. So it is a way to gain favor with your customers, right? So really, ideally, you should have your own app. Businesses should have their own apps. It has up till now been fairly expensive. You can find on the internet build your own app platforms out there. I would say you would need to be fairly technically savvy to make this work, because you may not have much functionality in your app, or it just might not work.
It's really bad to like that.
And,
when I work for a company,
right.
they come up with really bad.
Yeah, a bad app is a bad rap. I mean, excuse me, but
It's better with no app.
no app. But so that I really don't recommend. But there are companies that now offer customized mobile apps. The first one I list there, Laser app, actually is based in Kennett Square, and it's probably $2,000 or $3,000, which is really for a business not that unaffordable. I think these prices will just come down. Actually, I was very much involved with having an app created for a Chamber of Commerce. There's a Chamber of Commerce in Kennett Square. This company that created Laser app created the app for the Chamber of Commerce. And so every member of the Chamber of Commerce, there's like 500 business members, every member has a page in the app. So you go into the app, consumers can search restaurants or business, services or lodging, and then each one has their own page, which has one-click dialing, hours, a little Google map, and then GPS directions to that physical business. All right, so you can band together to make an app. But it really is important to be in on it, because people like them, and they just keep using them more and more. All right, so the bottom line, which is mobile delivers social media on a continuous basis, and users interact more continuously. So once again, you have this conduit between you and your customer, your prospect. And it's very strong. And if you know how to use it, it's also not very expensive. It does take time to use, but there's ways to manage your time. I, for instance, do all my social media for the week at in a half an hour on a Sunday evening. I schedule all my social media to go out.
Do you use Hootsuite or anything?
I always use Hootsuite. Hootsuite's free. There are other ways, there are other services. It's a great thing, but it's really a very powerful way to be connecting, and it's not costly. It's also very responsive. Like, for instance, if there's something during the week that comes up, some news event I think is pertinent, you just jump in there and post something. But basically, most of what I'm posting is educational material that, really, I can schedule it ahead of time. And Hootsuite is a great tool to do that. All right. So mobile also offers you these new opportunities that are powerful, and they're only getting stronger. So, and there are other things that I haven't thought of that are going to be showing up on our phones. So there you go. It connects you. Mobile strengthens the connection. And it's just direct connection that you can't ignore. All right? Okay. I'm just going to take a note. The next slide is my score slide. So I'm going to do the score thing, and then I would love to have questions or comments or anything like that. We have plenty of time, by the way. SCORE is the organization that sent me here today. It is a really fascinating organization, and it's a very strong presence here in Chester County. All right. It used to stand for Senior Corps of Retired Executives. But in fact, about a third of the SCORE volunteers are people who are still in business or active professionals like myself. So now they just use the acronym. It was well known. It was actually supported by the Small Business Administration in its early days. It's not government funded, don't get me wrong. It is an all-volunteer organization. But it provides free services to businesses. So for instance, a startup business, you can get through SCORE just by going on the SCORE website. It's like SCORE Chester County, just Google it, SCORE Chester County, PA. You can go on the website and request a SCORE mentor. And that will be someone, a very, very experienced business person, who will meet with you once a week for as long as you like, at your convenience, give you advice, and point you toward resources. Like myself and others, if you need help, they'll certainly help you write a business plan. They'll help you write a marketing plan. They'll send you to people who know what they're doing in different areas. And the SCORE services are always free. So it's a tremendous resource. It's not just for startup businesses. Any business can have a SCORE mentor. And they will give this free. There are resources on the SCORE website, and they give these seminars. There's also small group workshops, like for instance, the SCORE mentors, they will sometimes reach out to me and say, I have 3 or 4 clients that need some hands-on help with social media. So then we'll set a date and time. We all meet at a library that has a meeting room, and we'll sit, and I'll say 3 or 4 of them, and I'll sit with them for 2 hours, and we'll work on things. Okay? Once again, free. So this is one of the best kept secrets. The Chester County SCORE chapter is one of the largest in the United States. We have 70 or 80 SCORE volunteers, and it's considered one of the best. So it's a really great resource for business people and for anyone who wants to get into business. Okay, that's my SCORE thing. I would love to hear from any of you. Any questions? Comments? Yes?
I love Wikipedia because I'm always on it checking something new out. And I know that there's a lot of other websites that are out there that duplicate that to some degree in niche areas. I was wondering, how would you find those since you're, the expert?
Well, first of all, I like Wikipedia too.
Yeah.
I use it a good bit. But I would say, you want to Google it.
I mean, how?
So for instance, if you needed information on a very specific topic,
Right.
okay, so go in and ask the question to Google. Those niche areas might not show up first or second or third. Go on down the page. Drill down, okay? And you'll find them eventually. Another thing you can do is go to association websites. So for instance, the National Association of Chemical Engineers, something like that. Go in there to find sources. Also, within Wikipedia, a lot of material references, there's references in there. Go to the reference material. So that's how I would drill down, and often do. And you do want to do that a little bit with Wikipedia, because really anybody can add to it. So you want to check out the references and make sure that it is factual information. But I have found it to be pretty valuable. Often in specific industries, I go to the academy or national association for that group. Like, for instance, one of my clients is a CPA. I go to the American Institute of CPAs. And then through that website, I found a consumer website that they operate, where they educate consumers. So then I source information from there for my client to use for her social media. Okay, so then it's reliable, it's good stuff, and it's been vetted, as it were. Please.
You mentioned, I caught the last session, it's only mine. So you mentioned setting up the social media on Sunday night. Is that the ideal time so that it's
No, that's a very good question. That's just convenient for me. It's when I have some quiet time. The best times for social media are Thursdays, Fridays, any day early in the morning, or late at night. But if we wanted a day that's favorite, particularly if you want to catch people, if businesses want to catch people. Facebook tells us Thursday and Friday have the most Facebook users. We haven't had that explained to us. My theory is people are goofing off at work, okay, on Thursday and Friday. So I make sure my clients always have posts on Thursdays and Fridays, and then sprinkle some others out, early morning, late at night. Okay, that's when people are looking at it. But you've got to assume, you've got to post at least 3 times a week. 5 is better, 10 is better than that, but probably none of us really have time for that. If you can do 3 to 5, you have a strong program. And your hope is really just that your customer, any given customer, will see at least one of your posts every week. Okay? You want them to hear from you without them having to come ask you something. So that was a very good question. At one point in time, we really didn't know, but Facebook released that in the last 6 months. Thursdays and Fridays. I do it in the afternoon on Thursdays and Fridays. That's what I say. So what I do is I'm saying is you schedule it at your convenience. The Hootsuite platform lets you pick the day and the time. So I go in and I say, okay, this one's going to go on Tuesday at 9 p.m. This one's going to go Thursday at 2 p.m. This is going to go Friday at 3 p.m. And then, you know, any others that I have. And then Hootsuite also has a publisher feature. It looks like a little pencil that you click on, and it'll show all your scheduled social media. So sometimes I'll say, when did I schedule that for? You know, I really would rather, if I have something else I want to post during the week, I'll say, did I, you know, do I already have something going out at that time? I can go in and review it, and I can change what's in there if it hasn't been. You can also schedule your posts on Facebook, right on Facebook, okay? And let me just tell you how to do that. It's very simple. It just changed. And yes, Facebook changes their things all the time, so I'm always having to learn new things. But when you go to the box, the compose box on Facebook, after you put in your post, and of course your photo or video, the little box, they click on to say post. Now when you hit that, it doesn't go to post. You get a drop down, and one of the choices is schedule this. If you click on that, once again you can pick the day and the time, you can schedule it way ahead. So for instance, I have clients that go to business conferences. They know when they are. They know when they are in 2015. So what we do is, and we want to tell people to go look them up, see their booth. Even if they don't have their booth number yet. We just go ahead and schedule some posts all the way out there so we don't forget. And it's as simple as that. And then Facebook also, in the activity page, you can look at what you've scheduled. So you can revise it, delete it, change it around. I use that for clients that are just using Facebook and not others. I just use Facebook schedule. And for clients that are using several social media, I use Hootsuite. So, anybody else? Yes, please.
Thank you, this has been very informative. Do you
Hope so.
or someone else do a version of this for nonprofit organizations who would be using social, I mean, I didn't get it down, but who would be using social media primarily?
I would be happy, I'm sure that SCORE would be happy to schedule something for you, someone like me. I would be giving virtually the same, I mean, it's really, to a large degree, I think businesses should take a lot of the same approach that nonprofits take. I don't see it as a big difference. I mean, especially with the fact that social media is really not sales, it's marketing. And marketing is the same no matter what your organization is. But I would say definitely I could do it. SCORE would help you out. SCORE does do seminars for nonprofits. The Speakers Bureau is Vic Goldberg. So you can go through the website. You can email me. I'll be happy to give my card afterwards. Yes?
What is Glassdoor? I mean, really, what are they? Glassdoor?
I don't know.
You mean that,
Glassdoor.
do any of you ever use it?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to answer it for you.
Please, answer.
Isn't that the site that companies, people that work for companies post on?
Well, they do that, but it seems like they do a whole lot more. I was just wondering where they fit into the thing. Because they're pretty important sources of information.
Oh, well, what kind of information?
Well, information on companies.
People that have worked with those companies on
Oh,
it.
I'll look that up.
That they pay,
Ooh.
things like that.
Woo-hoo.
They actually disgruntled
Oh.
employees all the time.
Well, that's the other thing, just quickly. That is a concern of many business owners, is disgruntled employees and disgruntled people. And just quickly, I'll address that, okay? First of all, if you have a company and you have employees, you need to have a social media policy. And you need to not allow everyone to post to your social media. You need to control that. You can make it that anyone may post, but they have to give you the post to review. All right? Or you'll post it. So, and if you should have a disgruntled customer or someone else posting to your website, to your Facebook page, then you need to get that conversation in a professional, non-angry, non-upset way. Take that conversation offline with that person. But it's good to have that conversation, that your response happen in social media, so people see that you're a professional, you'll deal with problems, and you're not going to ignore them. You're not ripping people off, and you will. But that is something that a lot of business owners fear. You do need to monitor your social media just to make sure there isn't something like that out there that needs to be addressed. So that's one of the services I provide, is I go and look at the page every day. So either you or someone needs to look at it every day. But you don't usually run into the problem. So it's just, it can happen. Okay, it looks like people are getting ready to go. So I will say thank you. You've been a great audience. I hope I
just want to thank you for giving us a gift. Thanks, Rob. And before you go, if I could, since she mentioned how important photos were, I want to let you, all the business school students, aware of an opportunity to get a free executive headshot.
Oh my God.
Compliments in the
Go
dean's
get it.
office.
Get it.
You have to go to this website. So those green spots represent available appointment times. If you want to get a headshot as a College of Business and Public Affairs student or faculty member, you can reserve one of those slots and show up at the appropriate room. I think it's the Gold Center, 106, room 106. These cost roughly $200 to $500 to get once you graduate, so here's your chance to get one nice. Right, Pat? That's the man right there. All right, if you wouldn't mind, if you sign the attendance sheet, so SCORE and Westchester, or the Control Center, can monitor his impact. Thank you very much.